back to the Union County Foundation podcast. Today we are joined by our guest, Sheila Hupp. Thanks for coming, Sheila.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to hang out with y'all.
Yeah. So if you could just kind of give us a little introduction on who you are and what does Union County mean to you, and just kind of give us a little backstory for those of us who don't know you.
Okay, awesome. I am a transplant. I am not a native Hoosier, but I do really love it. My husband and I met in Texas, where I'm from. I'm from the Dallas area, and he is from Ohio. And he was a professional bass fisherman and heard that Texas had a lot of great lakes. And so he made his way down there, and we met on a blind date, and we got married. And then as we, were married for a few more years, he wanted to move closer and work with his parents. And so we started moving up closer and closer to the Midwest. And then once we started having babies, we decided to move even closer and be near his parents. And his parents currently live in College Corner.
Okay.
And so we found a place that we really like in Union County, and that's how we are here. I married a Midwestern man, and we love where we live in Union County, and it's a beautiful place to raise our 3 girls. We homeschool them, and they're way into softball, and we enjoy the people a lot. We enjoy that there are multiple generations in the community, and so we think, okay, well, we live in a place that many people want to grow up, go out, explore, do their college, do their career thing, but then move back and be close. And that brings us so much just warmth and comfort knowing that our community is something that is multi-generational friendly.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things that I love about it is we want the younger generations to come back. And I think that's one of our missions here as the foundation is just bringing people back to this wonderful community that we have.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love that too, because I would love for this to be a place where my daughters want to come back and maybe raise their kids and be close to us as well.
That's right.
Yep. And Union County has so much opportunity for growth and development as well. And so if we're, encouraging our kids to come back and bring a friend, it'd be really awesome to see Union County grow and thrive.
Absolutely. Yeah,
for years to come after we're gone,
Yeah, and that's where I get really excited seeing all of the different changes that have happened in Union County just since we've lived here, right? So the new businesses that are coming in and new opportunities for young people to either get a job or start something.
Did you say how many years have you been here?
We've lived here for 9 years.
Okay. Yeah.
9 years. So my youngest was 1. That's kind of how I calculated.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so almost 9 years.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so you have seen some change. Hopefully all good. And there's been
Absolutely.
some movement. We're going to keep rolling. Right, gang?
Yeah, that's right. And so it's really encouraging for me to see other people stepping up into leadership roles. And not only, the older people who are retired and who have been around for a long time, but people who want to see real change and that are in the muck and the mire of it. So the folks that are wanting to see change right now that impacts their families right now. And I love to see that, whether it's within the school district or within the local government. I do have a past in that when, many, many years ago, long before children, I worked in local government management. I worked for the city of Dallas right out of college. I worked for Mayor Laura Miller, and I got to see a lot of different things happen in downtown, and I got to help, her with many different things that she was, working on and seeing them go through. And then I moved to the city of Irving, which at the time was where Texas Stadium was, where the Cowboys played, and so I was there when they imploded it, and that was really cool. And so I got to work in that and see different ideas and different projects go from just a thought, just an idea, and seeing it go all the way through the process. Just the other day, my old boss sent me a picture of a park that we were able to take through the whole council and community input process, where it was this house and we had it torn down, and then we were able to create a community park. And she sent me the plaque, and she was like, "Can you believe it's been this long since this happened?"
So cool.
And I was like, "Yeah, that's amazing."
But projects like that, they take time? And I think sometimes that's hard for everyone to wrap their head around that, but it just can't happen in one day. So that's exciting.
Yeah, so it was really cool for her to, walk by the park and be like, "Do you remember when we worked on this?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's super cool."
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, we brought you on today because we wanted to hear a little bit more about the programs that you are bringing to Union County. So we have helped award several grants to
Yes.
your nonprofit and your programs. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah,
what it's called,
absolutely.
what you guys do, how it got started.
Absolutely.
Tell us all
So
about it.
in 2021, we created an organization called Leaders in Training. And really the whole idea was to bring leadership classes. And at the time, it was really just for young ladies. And it was something that I just wanted to see young ladies get some help in areas that they were needing. I have 3 daughters, and I honestly, it was selfish of me, I wanted to create something where I could bring them along with
Yeah.
me every time. And so what we started doing is we were creating a class at the community Christian school in Connorsville, and it was called Godly Girls. And the class had been going on for a long time, and I was asked to come in to be a volunteer, and it was like right up my alley. I was like, this is amazing. And we get to talk, about scripture and about being a godly woman and about, how are you a good friend in a godly capacity, and how do we not gossip, and how are we a good friend, and how do we pick good friends, and how do we set boundaries in relationships. And so we just had a wonderful time in that class. And I have a friend who runs the Hope Center in Connorsville, which is a pregnancy center. And they had just been awarded a building from Reed Hospital that was right next door to the middle school in Connorsville. And she was like, I know you do this class for girls. Is there any way you could create something that's for boys and girls that we could take over to the middle school?
Sure.
I was like, sure. So we created a 10-course class that we would offer after school, and we promoted it as Leaders in Training, and we had snacks, which brings the kids, right? I will go to anything for a few snacks, yes. And we offered it after school, and we had like 10 kids show up, and we talked about time management and money management, and we just tweaked it a little bit from what we were doing at the Christian school that was really just focused on young ladies, and we drilled it down to what is going on in the middle schools. And really what we talked about was drug, alcohol, tobacco avoidance. How to set boundaries in relationships, not just in friendships, but romantic. We talked about manners and etiquette. We talked about, how to look someone in the eyes and shake their hands, and how you bring a different version of yourself in different situations, right? When you go to church with Meemaw, you're going to act one way, but when you have a sleepover at a friend's house, you're going to act another. And it's about knowing that appropriateness. And we just had a wonderful time, and then it grew to where we're now at the high school in Connorsville, and then we bring another class to Union County that is focused on career preparation and career readiness for students. And it's a class that we have a lot of fun with, and we partner with 4-H, and we get to talk to them about how to be an employed student. How do you get a job? How do you keep a job? How do you keep your grades up? How do you go in and introduce yourself? How to fill out an application? So we go through all of those on how to not only get a job, but how to keep it. And then how does that play into bigger jobs in the future and success while they're in school. And we also have, a very customized program that we offer in Rush County, and that is all drug, alcohol, and tobacco avoidance. So I go there once a month throughout the school year, and we focus on staying away from drugs, how to say no to them, what to do if you've already tried them, dealing with some of the shame that may play into that, and realizing that they can, make a turn and not go back to that, how to pick your friends wisely, who's going to support you in that. So they're kind of all intertwined and about the decisions that we make, as adults and as middle schoolers and everywhere in between, and how that impacts their future. So our mission at Leaders in Training, just to circle back around to that, is we want to help leaders, no matter where they're at on the leadership spectrum, find a big, bright future and equip them with the skills to make it a reality. How can we do that? What does that future look like? And everyone's future is going to look different, and the road to get there is going to look different. But if they can own it, and if they can get excited about it, it's going to help them make the right decisions.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I love that. That's awesome. I love that you're teaching students kind of the importance of building their own personal brand. That everything you do, whether it's at your work, whether it's at a sleepover,
online,
whether online, at grandma's house, at church, wherever you might be, people are always watching. There's always someone that's receiving what you're showing up with, and knowing that they have the right skills to do the right thing and to show up the right way. That's really awesome.
Something that gets them really excited, and they don't necessarily know how to say it or ask, is I tell them, I'm like, how do you show up when you're meeting your sweetie's parents?
Yeah.
And I'm like, middle school, they start having little crushes and stuff. And I'm like, you need to pay attention how are you dressing? What are you
Yeah.
saying? You know, and I act real silly, and I'll be like, hey, what's up, you know? And then I'm like, is that how you want to show up?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, that's, you know, maybe that's how you act when you're with your friends. And I'm like, but don't come trying to date one of my girls acting like that. And so I can just show them that with love. And we have some wonderful teachers that help us. So right now we have a wonderful guy at the middle school in Connorsville who does the lit classes, and we have some awesome ladies in Connorsville who are going into the jail and going into the drug recovery homes. And so we branched out a little bit on where we're going and where we're taking the message and the kind of teachers that we have as well.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So your program has really grown because it's not just you anymore. It sounds like you've really expanded on some helpers there.
Oh, yeah,
So what does that kind of look
absolutely.
like? How many people do you actually have working for you?
Oh, wow. Well, we have 4 teachers, including me, and then 2 staff members.
Okay.
And so what we do is we're constantly updating curriculum. We are going out and meeting with different organizations that might benefit from our program, and then we're actually teaching the program. So right now we're in Connorsville. We are working with the women's jail, and we are working with the House of Ruth. But our goal is to work in other drug recovery homes and eventually work with women and families who have been in trafficking. And so what we're learning is that the type of classes that we're teaching, especially for adults, where it's like money management, time management, how to manage your house, how to make a meal plan, is necessary. It's something that women who are in drug recovery, women who are incarcerated, or women who have been in trafficking, it's not skills that they necessarily have mastered and that will benefit in their recovery journey.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing that you do that I really love and that we're lucky to get to participate in are the mock interviews. And I think that in a world where kids don't have necessarily a lot of like face-to-face interactions with each other, or even adults, it's really good for them to be able to practice that because it makes them a little queasy, I think, to have to sell themselves. And it's always fun to go.
Yes,
see
we
those
have
kids.
a wonderful time, and the kids actually enjoy it. They get so nervous. So this is definitely the best piece, I think, of our career readiness program, is that we do get to bring in really cool leaders from Union County and have them sit almost like speed dating style, right? And then the students get to rotate and practice interviews, and they're really stressed and they're really nervous and they're always tempted to skip that day, but they feel better afterwards. And I can just see them going, okay, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, it's
that
always
wasn't
fun
so
to
bad.
see the first kid that comes up for an interview. They're like ready to puke. Like, this is so nerve-wracking. And then we start having a conversation and they calm down a little bit and they realize this isn't so bad. This is okay. And then they move on to the next person and they're like, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
By the time it's all over, they're like, hi. They can tell you
Yeah.
their name.
Yes.
They can move right in. It's
Yeah.
really awesome to see just the progression in the whatever 30 minutes or hour that we're there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Could you break down a little bit of your program that you have in the schools? I know we just kind of jumped to like the end of your program, and that ends with mock interviews. But can you tell us how many weeks, when it starts, and what that kind of looks like for the
Absolutely.
kiddos?
So the majority of our programs are 10 weeks.
Okay.
And so for the one that we do in Union County, we start with an awesome test that Jennifer Logue from 4-H does, and it's called Real Colors. And so we get these kids and we're getting to know them, and what we're wanting to do is pull out what they will eventually write on a resume. So Jennifer has them go through this assessment that helps put them into 4 different colors, and she'd be the better person to tell you who's what color and what that looks like. But they learn what their like primary color is and their secondary. So there's 4 colors, and then they start seeing where their strengths are. So for the first 2 classes, they're looking at that, and then we're putting them in their groups. And so it's like all the golds go over here and all the blues go over here, and then they start thinking, oh well, organization isn't something that comes naturally to everybody, and you know, and like you're not just a normal encourager. Like, people take for granted, and I know that I did when I was in high school. Like, I thought that it all, you know, what came easy to me came easy to everybody else, right? And so there's people in there that are really good with numbers, and then but they don't realize that not everybody has that gift. And then what you see is then they start gaining some confidence. Is like, oh, this is my secret sauce, right? And then we work with them on building a beautiful resume that they're confident in. Like, okay, you know, and we have some, you know, Canva outlines that they can fill in so it's not so intimidating, and then they can do that, and then we walk them through how to do an application. And we tell them, like, when you go in to fill out that application, you better know your social security number.
Yeah.
You don't need to go in there and call your mama. Like, prepare.
Yeah.
And then we work through that, and then we do the confident interactions. So how do you know how to go in and even ask for an application? What do you need to look like?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Because what if it's the owner? that greets you there. So you always need to be ready to have that confident interaction, have that face-to-face, have some eye contact, a good handshake, and we tell them, like, that's your personal brand. That's a beautiful way of saying it. How do you want to be known, right? Like, you want the boss to go, dang, there was this awesome kid that came in and asked for an application, right? And he knew all of his information. And then, then we show them about time management and money management, because it's a skill to be an employed student. And then we teach them how to manage it all. And then we go into putting it all together in the mock interviews. And just like you were saying, how you could see their confidence rising, like, okay, I can do this. I can definitely do this. Well, they've already written a resume, so they know how to talk about themselves. They know what their secret sauce is. They've already filled out an application. You know, they're not going to be surprised. They know what to do. And then they've already done, 8 or 10 interviews, right? And then, man, they're ready. They're ready. They have the skills. They can go in and they can ask for a job. And the goal, too, with having the certain people that we ask to come in and do the interviews is that they might meet someone that they might want to work for.
Right.
They might have an opportunity develop out of that interaction.
Yeah, I know we've left there before thinking, man, I hope she applies for our internship.
Yes.
Later on.
Absolutely.
So that's really awesome.
Or scholarships. I mean, that gives you guys an insight on the caliber of students that are in Union County, because they are pretty spectacular. And just to see them grow in the program is really, really fun.
I think it's special to note, too, that you focus on, like, freshmen and sophomores, right, for that, the ones who might not have had that experience yet through anything in school, because they're underclassmen instead of upperclassmen. So they don't have that practice and need someone kind of in their corner as the young newbies of the school. And so they get that practice.
Yeah, the school helps pick the students that come. And so it might be some that are already working, or some who have expressed that they would like to get a job, or some that could just use some help in those skills. So the school has been amazing to partner with, and making sure the kiddos that need it are the ones that are there that we get to visit with and hang out with each week.
Have you had a chance to do any follow-up with these students if they have secured a job, or how, like, maybe even, I was thinking this would help them apply for college, the college applications as well.
Really good
so have you
question.
been able to have any follow-up with them?
We don't have a
sure.
formal follow-up. We do a survey at the end.
Sure.
But I do know that as we were getting ready to do the program in the fall, that Jennifer mentioned to me that one of the people that we had in the program the last time was already recruiting, was already saying, hey, these people would be good. So these people would do that. So that, I mean, we couldn't ask for a better recommendation than for a student to say, hey, my friends, need to come
It's
to
actually
this
helpful.
class. Yes, absolutely. But that is a really great idea to maybe implement, to say, okay, after you've had this, had a chance to apply, was it helpful? Were you able to secure? What skills did you learn in the class that you used that helped you with that? That's awesome.
Right, yeah. Well, your program's awesome.
Oh, well, thank you. We're really excited. We're really excited. We just feel like God's opening up so many different doors, and that, someone will hear about it and then they'll want to bring it. And then we've been really blessed by grants to be able to do it. And then so we get to find the right teachers too, which I think is really cool, right? So it means something different if I go into a middle school than if I went into a jail. But we're finding women that have a heart for women who are incarcerated, or women who have gone through drug addiction, and then they're the ones that are going to teach. And so it is not me at all. Like, I give God all the glory that He is just making all of these doors open and providing funding, and then it blesses my family, it blesses the schools, it blesses the folks that are teaching, and it's just been awesome, because I love to take my girls along any chance I get to, so that they can experience it as well.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're in the high school now, so have you ever done anything in the middle school, or any plans to?
We started in the middle school in Union County, and we had the best time. We had the best time there, so maybe again in the future. But that's where we started, and it was a little, when it's like career focused like that, it's a little bit much. So maybe that's something I need to circle back around and see what they're struggling with, because what we like to do, since we write our own curriculum, is we can really make it what they need. We can do like a prescriptive approach, and we can say, okay, what are your kiddos struggling with? What are you hearing from the teachers? How can we come alongside and push those skills that would help them be more successful in the classroom and at home?
I would love to see my middle schooler have time management and organization.
And that's always one of the funnest classes, because I love a good planner, right? But we'll give them a planner, and then we'll bring stickers, and it's always more fun for the girls. The boys don't necessarily enjoy it as much. But, you know, if we give them a nice plain planner and we show them, if you will just write it out,
Yeah.
you know, and we'll give them examples about breaking a big project down, you know, over several days, and it doesn't sneak up on you.
Yes.
You know, we plant
Yeah.
seeds.
Yes.
Plant seeds, right?
all you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do enjoy that.
Yeah.
They do enjoy that. So I'll circle back around.
And
That's
not hearing
really
it from
good.
mom and dad probably feels really good too. Like it's probably
Yeah.
so much cooler coming from someone like you than,
That's right.
Mom says I need to,
Yeah.
you know, do this better.
Exactly. And they go home and they're like, you'll never believe what I learned today.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
never
haven't
said
told
that
you that
before.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, is there anything else if you wanted one person from Union County to take something away from your program or leaders in training that you would leave them with?
Well, that we can all be leaders, that we all have a circle of influence, and that we can always just speak life into someone else. I know that I have had so many people in my life just pour into me. So many people, you know, come in leadership roles when I was working outside of the home, and people at my church that would just, you know, encourage me and pour into me and help me. And now I would love to see, you know, just that be contagious, right?
Yeah.
So that we can all think, okay, who is in our circle? Who needs encouraging? How can we lead them well? And how can we be a person worth following?
I love that. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having
It's been
me.
awesome.